Hello everyone, my name is Sarah and welcome to what is probably going to be an awful attempt at a writing vlog. I'm sorry in advance. I have not been here for a while and here I am trying to be here. So I feel like I've forgotten how to do this. I have been in a really weird headspace writing wise recently, and I was just sitting there trying to figure out why. Because I started off the year really well in regards to focus, in regards to motivation, in regards to my actual writing work ethic, which was fabulous. And all attempts since then to write nicely like that have failed. And it's not that I'm burnt out with writing or anything like that, which was my first fear, but it's more, I have the motivation to write. I have the inspiration in my head for the story that I need to work on next, which is They Lead the Hunt, which is the first book in my witchy YA duology, which I started a couple of years ago, stopped, and have now picked back up again this year. So I've been re-outlining everything with my new outlining method. I have been using my Everything series Bible notebook and all of my stuff in there, and character notes and stuff, in order to sort of plan everything and sort of get the story itself and the plot itself less convoluted, more streamlined, which I was doing a very good job of. Now that it's come time to actually start writing, even though the inspiration is there, I'm thinking of scenes as I'm walking to work. I'm thinking of the story as I'm at work. Oh, this is going to be so great, and I can go down and I can sit down and I can write. And I come and I sit down and write in the house, and I'm like, now I don't want to do it, but I do want to do it. Trying to figure out why I'm being like that. Impossible, because my ADHD and autism don't get along, and I don't have a handbook or a rule book or a guidebook on how to manage them individually or together, which is very frustrating. We're trying, we're learning. We'll see how it goes. I'm automatically getting distracted and going off on tangents, which I don't need to be going off on tangents. I'm trying to figure out why it's so difficult for me to write in my normal writing space. I think one of the issues is, the main issue is, from when I did the 90-91 challenge at the beginning of the year. That's where I write for 90 minutes a day for 90 days in a row, working on one project. And I stream every single day for those 90 minutes for the accountability. And I did a fantastic job with revisions for the project that I was working on. And I feel like that's one of the issues that I have, is sitting down at my computer. There is that lack of accountability. And I don't know, there's something so distracting now about my at-home workspace, and I don't know what it is. And it's not like it's changed in any way whatsoever. It's just very difficult for me to focus here at home now, which sucks, because this is where I do 90% of my writing. And I don't know why I have no focus in this space anymore. So to combat that, and it's not even really to combat that, to sort of try to fix that, we're going to do a challenge this week is the kids' half term. And I say this week, it is currently the Saturday of the half term that I'm filming this intro, and I have sort of been filming this all week, so you can see how odd this writing vlog is going to be. It is in bits and pieces. Things might not make sense. Again, I apologize. In order to try and bring the fun into writing, trying to get my focus back at my desk, as opposed to me going out to a coffee shop with my iPad and doing writing there, which I can do very easily and I get good results, but I can't do that every single day. So the plan is simple. Let me talk about the plan. It's a play off of me picking my chapters out of a box in order to write them, which is one of the other ADHD hacks that I occasionally use for difficult projects. Didn't work so well last time with this specific project when I first started writing it a few years ago, but we're trying it a little bit differently now. So we have all my 32 chapters here in this box, and here, not in a box, are my challenges, and I regret some of these challenges. One of these is different word counts that I have to hit in my writing session. And some of these are, if I can find the different paper, some of these are sprint times that I have to do in my writing session. And the challenge is, will it work challenge, is to pick a chapter from the box and then pick one of the word count or sprint challenges. Whichever chapter I pick, I should actually probably pick one now, right? 11. So we'll work on chapter 11. And if I randomly pick a piece of paper, we're going to be sprinting for 20 minutes. So I will work on chapter 11 for 20 minutes. That is my goal. Usually when I do something like picking a chapter out of a box in order to write that chapter, it is literally just, I'll pick the chapter out of the box and then I will work on that chapter until that chapter is done. I feel like that's not the best way to do it this time, because I have this unknown, I don't know what it is, about writing this story or writing in general actually. So we've added the additional challenge of me having an unknown word count or an unknown sprint time per chapter to work on. And I will be picking a new challenge and I'll be picking a new chapter each and every time. So if I pick 5 minutes and chapter 12, I'll work for 5 minutes on chapter 12, and then everything gets dumped back in the box, and then I'll pick a new challenge and it'll be, I don't know, 60 minutes for chapter 22. I'll work for 60 minutes on chapter 22. That will also sort of help get rid of the anxiety sometimes I get when I'm just working on one chapter. I start getting very conscious of how long it's taking me to finish a specific chapter. Yes. Why I decided to do this and film and do this challenge during half term when the kids are constantly at home, I don't know. Call it the extra part of the challenge.
That's what you get.
That's what I get. And I completely actually just forgot what I was saying. So I will continue doing it that way, flipping chapters every single time I pick a new challenge. And then once that chapter has been completed, then I will take that chapter out of the box and focus on all of the rest. Will I sort of be in the flow of working on one chapter and then want to keep working on that for the next challenge? Possibly, if I am very much in the flow of that chapter and have big ideas, and I will continue doing that. I will just pick a new challenge instead of a new chapter, but that will completely depend on how I'm feeling about that chapter at the time. I might have motivation and inspiration much more for one chapter on one day and not another, so this way I'm not forcing myself to continue working on something that I'm not feeling and running into the worry of it being less than quality. It's a first draft and it doesn't need to be quality, and I don't know where this sudden need for perfectionism has come from, but you know, that's me trying to give it a really good start and good quality in the earlier drafts so that it's less hard work in the later drafts, because that's very much sort of where I flounder in revisions, because if it's too badly written or too badly doesn't make sense, I don't want to work on it to make it better because it's too difficult.
Mommy, can I get another waffle because mine disappeared?
There are some very short sprints and word counts in there. The sprints range from like 5 minutes up to 90 minutes, and the word counts range from like 100 words to 1200 words. I'm not going to be forcing myself to do any of those in a single sitting. I think would be the easiest thing to do, especially if I get like a 90 minutes or 1200 words. That is just what I need to hit in total, and if I take the entire day doing that, then I take the entire day doing that, but that is what I need to hit. Hopefully we'll be able to get some actual work done in regards to the story and try and make some sort of progress going forward. I've got 20 minutes, chapter 11, so I'm going to focus on that now, and you're going to see now just some clips of me randomly over the past week. And all the other bits that I've done. So, and hopefully we can Can you hear my kids? They're so loud. And hopefully then we'll pick back up in real time at some point. And again, if this doesn't make sense or everything's out of order, like, I'm really sorry. But it's something, right? It's something. Let's go. So we picked chapter 14, which coincidentally enough is one of the chapters I randomly started adding to yesterday. So serendipitous, maybe? I don't know. Is that the right word? I don't know what that word means. And I have a challenge of 300 words for my word count that I have to hit. I'm not going to put a time on how long it's going to take me to do the 300 words. That's just what I need to achieve in order to move on. I will see how long it takes me to do though, so that should be fun. Ironically, a chapter that I am already currently working on. Sprint time 60 minutes. We're doing okay. Like, I'm not updating every single time I do a sprint, because sometimes I'll pick my numbers and then I won't sprint for absolutely ages, or do the work for ages, but I do get the work done. And some chapters are easier than others. I know I've outlined. Sometimes going into chapters, I'm like, oh, I wish I'd outlined this a little bit better, because all of the beats that I need and all of the information that I need and the plot points I need, and occasionally how the character's feeling or thinking is in the outline. But then there's specific things, because it's a witchy YA. It's like, oh, they need to do some sort of spell or potion or this and the other. And I'm sitting there going, but what does that look like? What crystals do they use, or what ingredients do they use? And it's taken all of me to not, like, let me quickly research what would be here. And instead I'm just sitting there like, oh, I don't know. Oh, this is really badly outlined, even though it's not really badly outlined, but which is very, very frustrating. But also it's like, okay, so I'm sort of picking up more things that I will need to research and look into in order to put it in and make it realistic. Does it need to be realistic? No, but obviously, you know, witchcraft and Wicca do, exist in the real world, and there is very much historical information and knowledge and stuff about these things. And if this is sort of set in a real world where witches do exist in our world, right, I will need to sort of have that correct information buried beneath everything else to make it a little bit more realistic and believable. And it's just popped into my head now that I can, in fact, start a running list of things that I need to write down, that I need to put into certain chapters, which I should start doing. And I'll actually start doing it now that I've thought about it, if I can put it in a place that I'm not going to lose it. Also, there's this sort of thing that I'm having where, and I don't know why I'm doing it, I'm very, very sort of against making notes and placeholders while I'm writing. Like, I'll go, oh, I need to do something here, but I won't, like, put a star or brackets and be like, I need to insert this here. I've got it in my head that I actually need to physically write it, which I don't need to do. If this is just the first draft, I can just put insert this flower. She does this magic, and then I can go back and I can resort it out later. But it's just in my head like, no, but you need to do it now because it needs to be properly written. It does need to be properly written. So I'm also fighting against that. So with that new knowledge in my head, I'm not going to go through and see what I need to do for all of the chapters that I currently have where I'm missing information. Because that will take up all my time. But going forward, for all of the chapters that I write, if I need to add something but I'm not quite sure what it is. I will make a note and we'll see if that sort of makes the actual writing of it a little bit easier. The issue with randomly picking chapters each and every single time is the fact I'm going to have a task list on here that is so long before any of these chapters start getting finished. The amounts of times I've cheated sometimes because I've picked up a new chapter and it's sort of already a chapter that I've written or worked on. Chapter 25 is a very big one I keep on picking up, and I'm like, no, I don't want to work on that chapter right now, let me put it back because I know exactly what it is. There's a few times I keep picking up 20 minutes for the sprint times, which isn't a massive issue, I don't mind. So many times I've just picked 300 words. 300 words, I'm like, no, I keep picking this one, let me get a challenge, please. And then I picked like 90 minutes, and I was just like, no, I can't do that, so I've repicked. Like, it's there to give me a challenge, but also if I don't feel like I'm up to such a massive challenge, or it is a chapter that I know and I'm like, you know what, I can't work on that one anymore right now, I don't want to, like, I'll repick. Goes against the challenge a little bit, but I didn't set myself rules for a reason. Anyway, chapter 18, new chapter, and 500 words, so let's get that started. I ordered this jumper on the 30th of January 2025. Needless to say, I'm very excited. It's summer now, so technically I can't wear it all the time, but it will be here for winter. It's also been 4 days since I last filmed, so me testing out doing this work, getting home from work, we haven't done that yet. I'll try and do some more of it this week, whether I film it or not, or just be done, I don't know. But while it's Thursday, and while I really want to do some writing, yet also really want to leave the house to do some writing, because I feel like I won't do good writing while I'm currently in the house. Let's do some writing while I'm in the house. So we are chapter 31, new chapter, which is the penultimate chapter, which is going to be fun. Have I outlined any of that yet? I don't know. And because I'm not bothered to take everything out of the other box, we're just gonna very awkwardly shuffle these and pick one. Oh, so we have a 10-minute sprint. So let's do that. I sort of know what goes in this chapter, and now that I'm reading back through my outline that I've got for it, I'm sort of recalling the moments that I sort of came up with as I was walking to work / being at work in regards to this chapter. So I'm glad I have at least something in my head visually that I can start writing down in this 10 minutes. And I say visually because I'm a very visual person. And when I'm imagining things in my head, I'm imagining them, especially in regards to stories and stuff. I'm imagining it as I'm watching it. With Epic the Musical, for example, when I listen to Epic the Musical, if I have nothing else to focus on, my brain will visualize me as if I'm watching, you know, like a West End, a theatre production of the musical, with weird choreography and lighting and the staging and all of that stuff, because it just makes it easier to focus on it. I don't know why I needed to say that, but anyway, that's what I do. So I have face claims and stuff for all of my characters always, so I have something to visualize about them in my head. And yeah, when I come up with stuff, body language, movements, stuff they're doing in my head, to, I don't know, I just think it makes it easier for me to hold on to that thought that I'm having, if there's something visual to go along with it. So there's only a specific part of this outline, which is she does a spell to locate Ashby, but Ellie can see it doesn't go as planned, though Thea says nothing. And I clearly remember going, oh, right, yeah, because she was doing that, and then this, that, and the other, and this was going on, and I'm like, yeah. So I'm gonna, now that I've read through that, I'm gonna focus on that specific part first, because that is now fresh in my head, and then we'll go from there, and we'll see what else I can come up with in the 10 minutes to do the writing. So I'm gonna stop talking because now I'm just distracting myself. We did a fair amount of work. We did a good amount of work. We have words written at least. One of the issues I have, and it's not really a massive issue, is that I have already technically started writing They Leave the Hunt in Scrivener, again, a few years ago. So all of the chapters that I had originally outlined, most of which are still in the outline, I have written a little bit for each of those scenes. For a lot of these chapters, I don't need to explain the same thing over and over again. So the thing I keep doing, which I really should prep, is I start writing stuff and then I'll think of something and I'll go, let me write that quickly. And then I'll go, but technically I've already written that bit in Scrivener. But I don't want to then stop what I'm doing, especially if I've got a word count goal, and then go to Scrivener and then take what I've already written and then put it in, because that mucks up my word count goal. So as I was writing this scene, I remembered, oh right, there's a bit of a conversation that I've started writing that I technically have already written. So I should put that in this chapter now. And really I should go through all of the chapters that I have and put them in the new chapters here. So that's already in there. And that's in my head now for me to do, but I am not going to do that now. I am going to take what I have already written for this specific chapter, chapter 31. And now I've officially written 10,290 words in They Leave the Hunt, officially. But I started with like 1,200 before this challenge. So yeah, maybe 3,000-ish words is me taking it from Scrivener, but that's still some sort of milestone, right? I guess. I suppose. I am going to do one more. So we'll put 10 back. I'll put it to the side actually. And 31 also I'll put to the side. I'll pick one more chapter and one more word count for today. Don't be one I've already started writing. Check. 4. I think this is the third time I've picked number 4 already, which isn't terrible. It's not a bad thing, which is also a chapter actually that has a lot of bits that I've already written. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah. No, my issue is now number 4 is a chapter that I have basically already 100% written. So writing it is, I suppose I can edit it. We have 100 words. So we'll do that. So let's do 100 words. Do I want to take what I've already written for this completed chapter that is complete in Scrivener and transfer it over? And never mind, I have already done that. I have already transferred the entirety of chapter 4 into Scrivener. And I just forgot that I'd done it. All right, so if I have 100 words and this chapter, I won't call it complete. I will just read through it and adjust what I have written until I've added 100 words. Might as well get some editing done while I can. I've been meaning to show off this. This is just my little, when I have a word count goal, I'll just write my current word count and then keep track that way. I'm writing in this specific pen at the moment. I didn't finish the word count for that, but let's do 10,290 words. So we want to get 10,390. Right, so let's do that. I suppose this is also going to be really good for everything that I have currently written. It's fantastic. I get to edit it a little bit, so let's go. I just had an idea and I don't remember if I have notes on something like that or not. So before I start writing and fall into whatever, I need to check to see if I've written anything in regards to it down for this chapter itself. Okay, possibly. Don't think what I'm thinking of in my head I have anything like it on here, so I might have to very quickly note something down. Right, we ended on 10,490 words. I wrote 200 words and not 100 words, so yay for that. So we got a few little extra bits in there, added some more inner voice, added some more character to the POV, and I don't know whether I'm going to keep it or not, I'll see, but it was just in my head, so I put it in there. A little bit more regarding the relationship that this current POV character Blythe has with her older foster sister Lisely. Once the draft is done, and you know it's done, and then I'll see if I keep it, but it's in there for now, so it's fine. So yeah, that's 25 minutes worth of work today that I've done. Yay. Quite early as well, despite the fact that I really didn't want to actually do any writing. I'm glad I actually managed to get something done. I'm glad I sat and went, you know what, no, I'm just going to do it. And then I'm also really lucky I pulled really small challenges to do as opposed to longer ones, because that I would have been doing it all day otherwise. So now I feel good because I've done some work and I still have some time before the kids come home from school for me to do other stuff if I would like to do other stuff. And I'm going to be writing a little bit later more as well anyway, so it just feels good that I know I haven't wasted my entire time by myself, where writing is generally easier to do, on doing nothing at all whatsoever, which is a marked difference from me wasting my days off from work not doing anything because I don't need to do anything because it's my break from work. But no, we're feeling good. I feel, while I haven't been as consistent with it as I would have liked, as this vlog will clearly show you if it makes any sense at all, again, I apologise. I'm very slowly, I feel like I'm getting back into doing work in the house, doing work if I'm not ready to do work. So for now, we'll see how we go a little bit more when I stop doing filming for doing this, but we're gonna keep this up, and I might actually just go through and take stuff from Scrivener and put it into Butterdocs now, actually. That way I know it's done and I won't have to keep referring back to Scrivener in order to add stuff in to the chapters or not write something because I know I've already written it in Scrivener and then struggle with something else that I want to write. So I might as well just do that now so it's done. So I don't need to worry about using Scrivener anymore as a reference. That's 2 ways I've said that. You're welcome. So that is it from me today. Over the past, God knows how many times I've filmed this. Again, if it doesn't make sense, I'm really sorry. I tried. It's something at least. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue with this and hopefully it's gonna get better and easier for me to get my focus in. Hopefully we'll be able to do it during work days as well. We shall see how it goes this week, for the rest of this week at least, and see if I can push myself to do a challenge after work without feeling like I want to jump off the nearest roof instead of doing some writing. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.